Well, hello, good evening, good afternoon, good morning. If you watch this video at night, like this time, which is 10 p.m., um, that's good evening, and we are close to being good morning because 2 hours will be reaching the morning time. But here I am, and it's on, I believe it's December 10, and that moment has come where today I just finished my first exam for the macroeconomics. All right. It happens to be on the same, coincidentally, at the same time when the Federal Reserve Bank just lowered the interest rate below more than 3 years for the first time in 3 years. So this is like when I saw this, it was around 5 p.m. The exam which for macroeconomics was about 5:45, supposed to be 5:45. So I went to LinkedIn and I posted about this because I had these things in mind already. I was like already studying, I was already understanding things. So this was like fantastic, and I was proud of what I done. Like even though I was going for an exam, being able to see that the interest rate went down today in the evening. The Federal Reserve Bank voted toward interest rate. I immediately posted on LinkedIn by saying that now that the interest rate goes down, we're gonna have things like borrowings are going down. The companies are gonna borrow more money and invest, and eventually you're gonna see the economy boosting back again. Okay, why do I have freaking roaches in my house? It doesn't happen often, but I will see. Right, it's dead. All right. Yeah, I usually take 1 or 2. Right? This house is really terrible, but I need some medicine to spray. But anyway, so the point I want to making is that the interest rate is being lowered, and that means we could see more jobs. In 2021, the Federal Reserve Bank lowered the interest rate to offset the economy, to boost the economy, and restaurants borrow the money, right? I remember receiving emails from Wells Fargo. I mentioned I shared this before, but Wells Fargo was giving out PPEs and all the loans, right? And on a very low interest rate, credit cards were being given out for the low interest rate. This helped a lot of businesses, restaurants, AI startups, right? So it boosted the economy. However, we saw a huge inflation. Excuse me, I'm really sick. We saw a huge inflation in 2023, 2024, which led many corporations laying off a lot of workers and then replacing them with AI and automations. So now that we have AI and automations already in our lives, right, we have ChatGPT, we have all the circulations, the lowest to low interest rate has came at the point where many companies like Nvidia, Amazon, OpenAI have already got the money from the investors, already bought what they want to buy. They already boosted their capital. They already built the data centers and the AI. So with more money coming in from the government, that means we could see other companies that like restaurants in hotel industries and tourisms. We could see construction workers, more mortgages. People will buy more homes. That will boost the economy, and that will shift workers into different industries, eventually building more jobs, and we could see more people getting hired, especially the college graduates, because the biggest problem right now we have is people like me. We have education, can get a job, and not because I don't have skills, but because there is really no jobs. Like companies cannot hire because they're not making any profit, and the profit comes when people consume. So if I'm a college student, I'm a new consumer, right? I'm supposed to be consuming, but I cannot consume if I don't have money, right? Like you can tell from these videos I've been making. When I go to the store, I buy only chicken. That's the only thing I buy. I could also do other things. I could get married. I could have a kids. I could have something else. But we hold on from doing those things. We hold on from doing those things because because we don't have income coming in, and that becomes really harder, right? We don't have jobs not because companies don't want to hire, but because companies are not making profits. If there's no profits, they can hire anybody. So with the interest rate being lowered, we could see companies borrowing more money, people borrow more money, consumptions go up, and companies start hiring faster. So we could see that coming up in the next year, and that is great, right? Savings rate is going to be really down. It's going to be affected because there won't be no profit on the saving rates, but the stock market and the bonds are going to be boosting up. The US dollar is going to lose the US dollar is going to lose a little bit of value, which will affect many countries. But there's another implication companies are trying to use AI still. Like companies, they're trying to, like, there are many jobs in administrative tasks, financial, right? Those things that are repetitive, and companies are still insisting that they need to use AI to hire humans. So I don't know how that's gonna play out. Another thing that I want to mention is that something to keep in mind is that with this inflation going down, with this interest rate going down, we still have tariffs. Mentioning these tariffs they are really affecting the American people, and this is something that the president of Donald Trump has acknowledged, right? His team has acknowledged, his administration has acknowledged that tariffs are making things more expensive, right? We don't necessarily, we're not trying to refuse to buy things, and no one in the United States supports China for supplying us goods, the Communist Party. But we gotta understand that you can't just pass tariffs within 1 month, then expect me to go to a store or go to I don't know, like a dealership to buy a car, and they spend $50,000 on a car just because one part that's supposed to be in that car costs double the price, because that part is not made in the US, made in China, and the price on the tariff has gone up. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna refuse buying that car. I'm gonna refuse buying a car and keep that money in the pocket, right? That has been one of the biggest problems. And then the dealership will not make money, right? And if they don't make money, they're gonna fire all their sales teams, right? Not fire them, but they're laying them off. So that is what the tariffs has been, and implications. Yes, before tariffs came in, there was still a high inflation. There was unemployment rate that's going up. Companies were laying off workers, which is why the Federal Reserve Bank started to increase the interest rate, right? They increased it so that they can offset the high prices on the market and cool down inflation. All right, but for now, with tariffs, that has made the Federal Reserve Bank to again cut the interest rate so that they can allow companies to borrow and individuals to borrow and eventually keep the economy functioning as it should. All right. Other than that, when I went to the exam, that was the exactly same thing that came in the exam. It was, how do you actually boost the economy? How do you ensure that if the economy is down, right? Things like these are called shocks, right? Tariffs are shocks, right? How do you boost the economy back up, right? Do you touch a monetary policy? Do you touch on interest rate? What do you do, right? And those are the things that I talked about. It's funny that in economics we actually deal with things that are happening in everyday life. Typically in economics, in advanced economics, like master's program. So Anyway, overall, I don't think I did as good as I thought, but I don't think I did as bad as I thought, but I think I did wonderful I thought sounded like Trump, like, being more optimistic. But I think I did great. I did great for the most part, and answer some questions, and I was able to give some, very empirical understanding. Um, and that's all I can say. Like, just I did what I can. I did my best. I didn't necessarily like panic. My brain didn't shut down. But even the last week, last midterm, I thought I did great, but actually it turned out I did really, really bad. But the difference between this time and the last time is that the last time I didn't know what I was doing. Like, I didn't know how the test is gonna go. This time, although I studied and I had some concepts on things like business cycles, Keynesian models, adaptive versus rational expectations, right? The consumer expectations, the policy implications. So I had some ideas, some kind of knowledge of what I was doing, which is positive. So that's all I think I have today. I should have made a video earlier, right, before I went to the exam, but not as much. Another thing to end is that I'm really sick, okay? You can hear I'm sneezing, I'm coughing. I'm really sick because yesterday on Monday I made a mistake. I went out without a jacket, right? This jacket over here is really warm. I got this from my brother, but I went out with only a hoodie and it was extremely cold. Like, it was brutal. Right now it's warmer, but on Monday it was really, really, really bad. Like I should have gone out at all. So when I came home, because I have only lived in North Carolina and California, right? I've never actually lived in such a brutal, cold environment like DC. And when I came here in January this year, I keep thinking about last year. It feels like forever. But this year, January 15, a week before Trump was sworn in, it was snowing. And when it is snowing, it feels much better. Like, it's not as bad, right? But before the snow, like during this time of Christmas, it gets really, really cold. Like North Carolina, when people say it's too cold, like, it's not cold. Here, like, it could be 31 degrees, but it hits you so bad. Like, in my fridge, to give an example, think about this fridge and think about how cold is this ice. All right, that's how it feels like when it's cold outside here in Washington DC. That's how it felt like when I was outside yesterday on Monday. Today's Wednesday. It felt like I felt like I just put my hands in a very, very cold temperature. Like, all my temperature went out really fast, like disappeared in seconds. So, like, I questioned myself, why am I outside, even though I live too close. When it's cold, you can run, right? When you run, you wait, you sweat, you feel warmer. I didn't have that courage to run. That's how cold it was. Like, I didn't feel like running because if I stayed in that temperature for a long time, I'd have died, right? So it was very, very cold. And then here I am, like, really, really sick. And like, the moment I got home, like, as soon as I got home, I crashed on the bed. This is the first time it ever happens to me. Usually when I'm cold, it boosts my mood, like, it makes me better. But that's because I used to live in a very moderate to warmer. When people used to say, I came from New York to North Carolina because it's warm here, I was like, you guys joking? Like, it's cold here. But no, these areas are brutally cold, like really cold. 31 degrees here, Fahrenheit. It's like 40, 50 degrees in North Carolina. So something I learned here, and I'm adjusting to it, right? So even though I'm an American, actually, I don't feel like feels like I'm new here than people who've been here for more than I am, even though people who've been here for 3 years are better than me, who just came here from another state. So anyways, I'm really sick and my voice has changed. It's not COVID because I don't have any throat, but I cannot taste anything, I cannot smell anything. I can have a little bit of taste, but not as much. I can make some bread over here, right? but not as much. I cannot really taste. That's all I have for today. Like always, thanks for watching, and I want to say good night. I'll see you tomorrow on the final exam and how things goes. After tomorrow, I'm gonna be like free for the next about a month or so before starting a new class. Thanks for watching. Like always, ciao ciao, bye bye, have a good night.